Hey, we got our first guest here, right? Speaking of drivers shortages, speaking of recruiting, speaking of retention, our next guest, Robert Moffitt, he's the EVP and Director of Operations over at New Legend Inc. He's joining us now to talk a little bit about that topic. Robert, thanks for coming back on the show.
How are we doing, guys?
We're doing really well. We're talking about recruiting, big topic. That's what the show is going to be focused on. When it comes to driver recruiting, though, how is New Legend Inc. dealing with this challenge?
Wow, I took some notes earlier this morning and thought about some of those questions that we were going to talk about. And I think it really boils down to, first and foremost, we're building a larger recruiting team. We're expanding our footprint. We're looking at other states like Texas and Oklahoma because we have freight that we're moving from those positions. We're investing back into the company to make sure we have new equipment. And so those are some of the challenges and things that we're doing to try to meet the demands of the drivers. I think that's probably the first and foremost piece of what we're trying to get done with the recruiting piece. And the only way to do that is to, like I said, expand the number of recruiters that we have and, meet a different market.
Excellent. So how is Legend going about retaining the drivers that you have?
Well, I can say I looked at this for the last quarter, and we did okay. But the retention piece is a little tough because we're finding out that drivers don't want to do live and live. They don't want to do live and drop. They want to see drop and drop. So they're really looking for shipper of choice freight. They're looking for things that make it easier for them to put together some engineered lanes that they can get their home time. So these are all things that we're trying to do. I'll say that if we have a driver that has a situation that, maybe he wants to quit or there's an issue, he has to go through, I'll call it the chain to find out, what is it that the problem is? How do we mentor the person? How do we gain value back into the driver? So those are some of the things that we're doing from our side. So it will go from basically from the driver manager back all the way back to the recruiter to find out if there's anything we could be doing differently to improve maybe some of the processes that we're doing to create that visibility for the driver to be successful too. So I mean, it's both sides. We've got to listen.
Well, what's more important, recruiting or retention?
Well, we're trying to still grow as a company. So I would say recruiting is important because we need to make sure we're putting the best drivers in the seat. So at the end of the day, you're always going to continue to recruit because you're going to want to put the best qualified drivers in the seats. You want to make sure that they're capable of performing their job at the standards that we've set for ourselves. But the retention piece is extremely important also because ultimately, if we're doing really good job at retention, then we should be getting that passover back from those drivers that are providing us with leads and other things that allow us to hire other drivers because they want to drive for us.
Yeah, it's always a good thing when you get your drivers to try and bring on more people. Some companies are just, they're raising pay. We see it in warehousing. We're seeing it in trucking, raising pay in order to bring in drivers, recruit them, and retain them. Do you think that's effective? And what are you guys doing that is different than that?
So we're doing every bit of that. We're offering bonuses. We're looking for drivers to have retention with us. That's why we're doing the bonuses. We are increasing the rate per mile for some of the lanes that we're doing because they might be very strategic. They might be very, I'll say, shipper of choice lanes. So when we have a shipper that says we're going to give you a piece of business and the expectation is this is where we'd like you to perform on it, then we've got to put those drivers that want to perform in those lanes on those loads and continue to make sure that we can service the customer. Because at the end of the day, I'll go back to the same thing I said before, and that is, we have to listen to the drivers. But at the end of the day, we have to set them up for success so that we can both grow in that piece of business.
Now, if you were listening to the open, McDonald's is offering iPhones after 6 months of employment. What are some of the things you offer drivers that differ from other companies?
Yeah. You going to pull out a used iPhone there, Robert, and give it to your drivers or what?
No. I think in the big picture, I would say that for us, I'll say probably a lot of people are following the same piece of business that's out there. Providing the drivers with bonuses, maybe paying them a little quicker than normal for some of the things that we're doing, knowing that there's visibility to that. I'll say, if a driver is married, I would say that some of those things that we're offering might go a little farther because somebody at the house is saying, this is where you need to be at, this is where you need to stay at, continue to work there. I believe there's better successes there. And so those are some of the things that we're trying to do and make sure that, as a family-owned company, we try to tell ourselves that, the extension goes all the way back to the people that live at the house with the driver that's on the road.
Yeah, so Robert, you're talking about matching the drivers with shipper of choice type of lanes and stuff like that. So do you put the onus back on, or do you work with the shippers to try and make them shipper of choice type of shippers? I mean, that's what you're talking about here. This driver wants to be on the road constantly. This one wants to be back. Trying to match them up with that. Can you talk to that a little bit?
So from a standpoint of our customers, everything that we do, we don't bid on every lane and every bid that we do. We look at our network, we build around our network, we engineer pieces, we have conversations with our customers and say these are good lanes that are going to help us retain drivers. So at the end of the day, all we're trying to do is put things in place so that if it's a 1,000-mile run, because the guy's an OTR driver, he's going 1,000 miles one direction. Hopefully within 10 miles with the deadhead piece, hopefully I have another customer that's on the other side that's sending us back to the same direction. So that's 2 days out, 2 days back, with the hours of service, and then if he's going to run as OTR, he's going to go back the other direction, and we're going to be able to achieve the miles that we're looking for the week for that driver. And hopefully in between that, his home is either at the other end or in between where he's getting his home time also. So those are the things that we're engineering around the things we're doing with Shipper of Choice, because those are the important things. So I'm not looking to hire a driver that's in New York City, because then he's domiciled and he's 3,000 miles away and I'm never going to get him home. So, I mean, if we think about what we're doing, those are the things that we're doing with recruiting.
Now, Robert, let's say that, okay, I like what I'm hearing. I've decided not to go to McDonald's for the iPhone. I want to become a driver for New Legend. How would an individual go about doing that?
So there's a way. The best way to do it is go to www.newlegendinc.com, click on the driver link, and it'll take you and give you the tele app that allows you to apply, and it goes into 10th Street. It basically takes a day and a half to basically process. They can be in orientation. If they fill an application on a Friday, most likely they're going to be in orientation on Wednesday. If they do it any other time during the week, then we'll probably get them into orientation on Monday. And orientation's 2 days long.
Wow. Hey, Robert, thank you so much for joining us today, your continued support of the show. It was a great time. We'll catch you next time on here.
All right. I appreciate it, sirs. Thank you.
Take it easy.
Thanks, Robert.
Well, they move quick, too. So if you want the job, they're going to move quick and get you a seat.
Heck yeah, man.